Hey guys, Alex with Bay Cities Construction here. This is the construction show. Today I've got Wendy Hurst, our interior designer, and we're going to be talking about 2022 trends for kitchens and living spaces. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the show. Hey folks, Alex Rodriguez here with Bay Cities Construction, and this is the Construction Show. We're going to be talking about kitchen design trends for 2022, and in studio we've got our designer, Wendy Hurst. Super exciting show. Want to introduce you to Wendy. Wendy, say hi to the folks.
Hi, everybody.
So today we're going to be talking about kitchen designs, and we're also going to be talking about paint colors and some of the cool stuff that's out for 2022. Many of you may be thinking about doing a kitchen or bath remodel or maybe a home remodel, and you're considering what direction to take your design. So today we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be answering your questions. So if you have any questions, please post them. Brian will read them out on the air, and we'll give you our best answer that we can come up with here in 5 seconds. So if for those of you that are new to the show, this is the construction show. We talk about everything has to do with construction, residential construction. We're here. The purpose of the show is really to answer your questions so that when you get to the point that you're starting your project or contemplating starting your project, you have a lot of information and you make good decisions based on real information. So, contrary to what most people believe, Google may not have all the answers. So we're here to answer your questions. We're here to talk about some cool ideas in construction related topics, and let's get started with the show. So design trends for 2022. We're going to start off with the easy subject, but before we do that, let me just recap last week. We talked about fire safety tips. There's quite a few tragedies where people dying in house fires and stuff, so please check out the last episode. It's on fire safety tips for your house, and that's posted on Facebook and YouTube. Tonight's episode is kitchen designs, 2022 trends. We're going to start off with the paint color forecast. Then we're going to get into the kitchen and flooring trends and what to expect in 2022. So kitchen color forecast. Now, this kitchen forecast is powered by Sherwin Williams. Sherwin Williams has not actually paid us or to endorse them in any way, but they did come up with a really cool prediction and a really nice color palette that I think is suitable to talk about. All right, so Wendy, let's take us through this. Let's talk a little bit about some of the paint colors and the vibes that you can create with paint colors. So this is a little snippet, and what's that color that one of their favorite colors for the walls?
Evergreen Fog. That's this year's color of the year. Greens, commonly, there's greens each year in the color forecast. This one to me is more of a gray green, so it's subtle. This color is very easy to live with, and I think it brings in colors of nature. So I like this color. I think it's going to be a good one.
It seems true also the case that the taupes are kind of that soft, earthy type of a look is in, right?
Yeah, I think for a while they had very stark whites and the very cool grays, and people are moving a little more toward the warm neutrals. It's just very comfortable to live with, and also it really matches anything. You can blend it with any accent colors you have or pillows. I always say to people, it's good to, if you have a lot of neutrals, then that way you can bring in the new trends, every few years with your accessories. So if you pick a good neutral background, then you can change it up easily without having to repaint.
Yeah, 100%. And it also affects the paint color affects your furniture, right? So you may not want to refurnish your house, every few years, but you could paint it maybe every 4 or 5 years,
Yes.
and freshen it up, or maybe you get a dining room table, or maybe a new couch. I know I am going to be getting a new couch here in the next few months, so we're probably going to paint the living room too. But so on here, I also noticed they have kind of like a real soft yellow. It's almost like a mustardy, kind of like a dirty mustardy color.
Chartreuse. It's kind of a greenish yellow. These are accents. Orange. The oranges have been coming in and out lately, and then we've also got some blush tones down there in the bottom. So obviously gray is still going to be in, but we're just going more to the warmer grays instead of such cool grays like you've seen recently. Okay. Accessible beige, that's one of their colors that's always popular. I
can see how it's a safe color. You know, a lot of times when people, especially if you're moving in from your apartment, right, where it's been a white Swiss coffee wall, you know, the whole time you've been a renter, and then you go into your house and you actually have a little bit of a selection, or you have the ability to change the color on the walls. I mean, it tends to be a safe color.
Yes.
You know, so that's kind of cool little setup there. So let's get into the kitchen trends, and we're gonna show the audience some pictures of not only kitchens, but also how paint and the countertops and the flooring bring everything together. So what do you think countertops for kitchens? What do you think it's going to be 2022?
I think the whites and the marble look is going to stay in. That has been trending for several years. People still like it. It's clean. You can do all different cabinets with it. Most people stay away from the marble, though. It's pretty high maintenance. It etches when you get lemon
marble.
juice on
the
it.
natural
Yes,
marble.
the natural. So many companies are doing amazing looking marble looks.
Yeah, the quartz.
Quartz,
yeah.
The quartz is just, it's so easy to keep clean. It is very low maintenance, and so I see this staying very popular.
What do you think about the white shaker cabinets, in or out for 2022?
The shaker cabinets will still be around. That is something that, especially for resale value, really everyone likes the white. I do think that it stays in because it's clean and everybody likes it. I do see trends going towards, some natural wood coming back. Painted cabinets are a little bit more difficult to keep looking good because they do scratch and they do get marred. And so we have seen the thermofoil has been really coming into popularity for people who want low maintenance, but they still want to stay with the white look.
So, but actually, let me go back to the previous picture here. So in this picture, you can see that it's a full backsplash with the same material as the countertop, and this happens to be a quartz. And for those of you that may not know the difference, the quartz is a man-made material. So it's a stabilized. It has resin in it. It has some natural stone in it, but it's manufactured, and the pattern is predictable. So if you see a palette of quartz material, man-made quartz, they all look the same, and the colors are the same, especially if they're from the same batch, if they're made the same time. The previous picture here, that's a natural stone. So unless it's from the same block, it'll vary, and the color variation and the different imperfections in there will vary accordingly because it's a natural material. So if you wanted to have a lot of surfaces like this kitchen does, and you wanted to have a uniformed type of a look or a pattern, you have to go with a man-made material. So the installers do a really good job of carrying the veining. Like you see how this veining carries from the horizontal surface to the vertical edge here, and that's a factor of being able to cut a 45-degree angle here, and this part used to be part of the whole stone, right? But they cut it, they beveled it, and now it's part of the edge. That stone isn't that thick. That stone's probably about 3/4 of an inch thick. So
yeah, they miter the edge, and then they give you usually 1.5 inch edge. Some people like the bulkier. They'll do a 2 1/4 inch edge, but 1.5 is about the most popular.
Yeah,
I would say.
I agree with you. I think white cabinets are staying in for sure. The shakers, it's such a safe, kind of timeless look. You know,
It is.
People really dig it. So let's see if our predictions hold true. All right, this is a kitchen we did a couple years ago, and this is a quartzite. This is also natural stone. And see how the patterns here are very inconsistent. This is kind of like a weird swirl thing, but that's part of the beauty, right? Then you've got this veining going this way, and you see my guys did an amazing job of wrapping the movement on the backsplash to the horizontal countertop section. See this veining here, and all carries over to the edge. So this was a thicker slab. You could see the profile here in the sink, but they still made it even look a little thicker on the edge.
And quartzite, that's a good thing to talk about too, is it is so much stronger than a marble. So you can use a quartzite in a kitchen. If you do still want to do a natural stone instead of doing the quartz, then quartzite's a good way to go because it doesn't etch and it doesn't stain like a marble does.
Yeah, 100%. It's a nice,
and it's beautiful.
It's definitely a nice material. We had to look through a lot of different stones to find that one. All right, so let's talk about backsplashes. That's still part of the kitchen. Historically, some people have picked a tile that complements the countertops. In the previous pictures, you saw the backsplash be the same material as the countertop. But the trends for the backsplashes, what do you see 2022?
I think we're doing a lot of textured tile. I think glass tile is going to be still in. People really like the glass tile in the kitchens. And those blend really nicely with the quartz and the quartzite as well. I think for me, the ones with a lot of 3-dimension to them, I prefer to use those for more of an accent wall rather than on all the walls of the kitchen if you really use your kitchen and you cook a lot. So I think they make great focal walls, especially in bathrooms and like living rooms if you want to do just one wall where you have some texture and some interest. And so those are great for things like that. But yeah, we're still going to see more of the typical 3x5 tiles as well, 3x6, the longer, maybe 4x12s. I think those are really popular. Then they still have that kind of same feeling that you get with a field tile, but you don't have as much grout. And they come in all different colors. So if that's a place you want to add color, you can get those tiles in pretty much any color you want nowadays.
I think from an installation standpoint, if you see the light switch and the outlet, I would say you try and get, if you're going to have a 3D tile, and if it's definitely a high profile tile, I would try and talk people into putting the outlets under the cabinetry.
Definitely.
So that the backsplash is clean. Because from an installation point of view, it's kind of a nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. You'll have voids between the plate. None of these electrical, the outlets are really made for that. Now, the other option would be to have the push. There's some that are automatic, but it's basically a little cube that's recessed into the wall. You push it and the cube comes out and you plug it in. But you can't leave stuff plugged in all the time. You basically, when you're done, you unplug it, push the cube back in. But again, that has a little trim on it, and there's going to be a void depending on how thick that tile is. And it goes, you notice it goes from the thin edges to a thicker center tile. So depending on where the outlet sits on there, it could also break your pattern. So there's a little bit of thought that has to go into that if you want to use a 3D type of tile.
Definitely. It's one of the reasons I like it more for decorative walls, because in a kitchen you do have to have outlets all along there. So that is a good idea to put them up under the with the light rail.
Right. So let's see. So the built-in look, in or out for 2022?
In, definitely. If you've noticed, more companies now are doing the built-in refrigerators. For a while, you could just get them from Sub-Zero. And now the other companies are realizing that this is a really good way to keep it seamless and it all the same depth. We have the counter depth refrigerators. Those will stay in mostly for cost reasons. The built-ins tend to be, quite a bit more. So it's whether or not people want to invest that kind of money to do a built-in. But the built-ins are taller, so they, you don't have that space up above there that's wasted. But definitely, it's a nice look. It gives it a nice, clean look.
And by the way, these refrigerators, they can be as much as $18,000. So you got to keep that into account. There's a difference between a counter depth and a built-in. A built-in it's in there. It requires special installation. We personally, like none of our team members will touch that. We will contract out a company that's all they do is install appliances.
And a lot of the companies now, the appliance companies, if you use their certified installers, they give you an extra year of warranty too. So they really do want it to be done by someone who's certified to do it.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah.
You have to customize the cabinets too, so that there can be an added cost because of that.
So Wendy, what about the doors? Can they have like the matching material be installed on the doors of the fridge?
Yes, most of the companies are doing panel ready. You can do them on the refrigerators, you can do them on the dishwashers, and that can give you a really seamless look in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's one of on the right. That's one of the ones we did.
Yes, that one has panels.
It's cool. So that's definitely something that folks have to consider budget wise. The counter depth fridge saves you, and we can actually on a counter depth fridge we can wrap it like you see here on the right with paneling, right. And it gives you that built-in look. For a full built-in though, the fridge has to be made to accept, like Wendy said, has to be made to accept the panels. This fridge just came with a stainless steel or metal face, and see they didn't put the cabinets in front of it, but it's a true built-in in every sense of the word. All right, let's in here. All right, so this part I'm actually pretty excited about. What we're going to talk about is finally, I think it's an Italian company that makes these this plywood, and it's an SPA wrapped plywood, and it basically doesn't require painting. So it comes in a bunch of different looks. I think there's probably about 70 different finishes on it. And it's been around for a while. It's been around probably 7-8 years, and it's finally starting to take some traction. Why do you think that is?
I think that people want to get back to that natural wood, but these are so low maintenance because they do look like wood. They also have a very modern look. So when people want that modern look, or especially we do a lot of remodels here in the South Bay that are mid-century modern, mm-hmm. They can get that look without having to do a veneer, which is very expensive, natural wood veneer.
Yeah, wood veneer.
It's very expensive. So they can kind of get that look with a nice slab door. Cleef also has like linen look textures and a lot of other textures that are out there too, but they do a lot of the wood look.
And I think as this desire to have that natural warmth of a wood, I think that what happened is initially when these products came out, where there was the flooring that was trying to mimic wood, it looked cheap, right? It looked plasticky, like a plasticky wood, and I think people liked the part of the ease to keep it clean and the durability part, but they just couldn't get their head around the fact that it looked like cheap plastic wood. And now not so much. The previous picture here, you could see this is a reverse channel so that you can get your fingers over here and open it. If you wanted to, you could go without hardware. The doors, you push them and they pop open, and then to open the drawers, you basically just put your fingers in that channel and pull the drawer out. But
you can use a magnetic locking mechanism so that you just press on the door and open it up. I think that is also another thing that's happening, is that in the 90s we were no hardware. People were using the finger pulls. Then it got very popular to use the hardware. I do see that people are asking again to not have to have hardware. And I think that's because it gets caught on your clothes, on your pockets, on your belt loops. It's just a nice, clean look. It can actually save you money too, because buying all that hardware does add up.
Absolutely.
If you have a lot of drawers and doors, those are each
absolutely.
$10 to $20 each. So
Yeah, you can have, 30, 40 pieces of hardware, for the handles and stuff. All right. So every year, RevAShelf is one of the big manufacturers of the organizers. And every year it seems like they'll come up with maybe 3 or 4 different organizers. And I'm kind of a little stoked about some of the new stuff that's come out. So let's kind of walk them through what they're looking at here.
To me, when I'm designing a kitchen, I always tell people I don't like to just have a cabinet that's open in there that has just a shelf, because you waste so much space in the back of that cabinet if you don't have organizers. So to me, they all have to have some kind of pull out, and you can be so much more efficient, especially if you have a small kitchen, if you have good accessories and good organizers. So you can do these cutting boards that you push them back, and then you've got your knife blocks underneath. They also make them where you can put it above the trash can, and it has a hole, and you can do all your chopping and then just dump all your scraps down into the trash can and then close the cutting board. There's organizers for that junk drawer that everybody has in the kitchen. And then K-cups. Those have gotten very popular with the coffee machines. So that's right there below your coffee machine. You can put your K-cups and all your teaspoons.
I really dig this tackle box thing. I've got so much weird stuff, weird shaped things in my junk drawer that I could totally use that. And most people don't know this. In many of these, they come in very common sizes. So even if you're maybe not replacing all the cabinets, you can actually order them on Amazon, and you can install them on your existing cabinets. I noticed that for the smaller kitchens here in Redondo, those galley kitchens, this is that's set up where you have the cutting board that pulls out and has the hole under the trash can. That's a good way to add more countertop, functional countertop space.
Definitely.
So for prep, I think it's pretty cool. So this is, with electronics, everybody's walking around with a phone all the time. That's kind of an inevitable.
You keep your iPads in there if you use them for doing recipes and cooking, and you just pull it out. I love the smaller pull-out cabinets that you can organize put your knife block in there if you don't want that on the countertop, your serving spoons. They also make them for putting your spices, but they're great for small spaces.
Yeah, I honestly, especially here in the South Bay, the smaller kitchens that we can't make them bigger, you got to make them more functional, right? And the best way to do that is by adding these organizers. All right, so this isn't a kitchen related, but the last few remodels that we did, we actually remodeled the section in the laundry and reorganized it. And I saw this is kind of a newer. I had never seen this before, where it's a wardrobe that folds down so you can reach it, and then it folds back up for storage. I thought that was kind of cool, so I figured we'd put that in and talk a little bit about it.
In the laundry room, it's great because you can open that up, and if you don't want to dry everything in the dryer, you have a place where you can hang things to just line dry them. They also make them where they come out and you can lay sweaters on them to dry them. So like drying rack type things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's also built-in ironing boards that you can do in the laundry area. So it just makes those areas more efficient.
100%. I think it's really cool. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is top flooring trends. Hey guys, before we move on to the flooring trends, watch this.
Over the years, I've built and remodeled lots of homes, so I know the value of working with experts, like the product experts at Ferguson. When you're ready to make your dreams a reality, find inspiration with bath and kitchen pictures you love. Choose the right contractor or designer for your project, and then schedule some time to meet with a Ferguson product expert. They'll help you find the perfect products from top brands. So schedule a consultation and visit a Ferguson near you.
So the next thing we're going to be talking about is the top flooring trends. We're going to drill down into the top trends. That sounds like a deep drill. Here we go. All right, distressed and textured flooring. We saw this get momentum maybe middle of 2020. SPC Flooring's been around for a little bit, but I the last 2 years really has gotten a lot more momentum. So let's get into it right now. We have some really cool pictures of one of the jobs that we just did. So what are some of the benefits? Like why do people like this? Wendy, what do you think?
Definitely, number one, the SPC planks are really well priced. So again, over the past few years, they've done a good job of making it look more like real wood. So before, it looked kind of cheesy, but now they've just really done a good job. The SPC, what they do is they actually crush up stone and they mix it with this polymer, and then, you've got the printed design of the knots and streaks and all the different things to make it look like wood. So it's pretty impressive what they can do for a very reasonable price, and it clicks together. There are still people who are doing the engineered wood, and it's beautiful, but if you have dogs that run across the floor and scratch it, the SPC can just really hold up really well. People can walk on it with their shoes. They're not going to scratch it up. It really holds up well.
And the design options they're pretty significant, right? Like
a lot of different woods. You can get different woods. You can get different colors. You can get, like, that one has, like, looks like it's a quarter sawn. You can get rustic. You can get sleek. So there's a lot of different things you can do now. This is a Tudor home that we did recently, and we put this SPC throughout the whole entire house pretty much. It had wood floors, but it was going to cost so much to refinish these floors. So we probably did this for about a third the cost of what it would have cost to refinish all of the natural wood floors that were in there. And this one had a lot of variation in color, so it kind of helped give the house kind of a more modern feel. Again, going back to paint, what I did here was we did white walls, but then we did a reverse trim, which is kind of a taupe. It was a taupey gray trim. So you'll notice all the windows and the baseboards and the doors all got painted with this taupe color. So instead of having white paint with white walls, it gave it a little more interest and some warmth to it.
Yeah, 100%. I think this came out awesome. The getting back to the cost factor, right? Because I'm the technical, how do we get Wendy's amazing designs into reality, right? So this floor not only would have been extremely expensive with the material by itself, right? I think there was 2-inch oak in here. Mm-hmm. So there's that, but this house is old. I think this is a 20s house. So there were sections of the house where the floor had dipped. So we basically stabilized the existing subfloor and we leveled it. We used lightweight concrete to level it out. So this stuff is, when you walk on it, it feels super solid, right? All of those little weird waves and the dips in the corners where the house settled, all that stuff went away, at a fraction of the cost. Normally you'd have to rip out the subfloor, put in new floor joists and straighten the whole thing out and then reassemble it and then put on top of that the natural wood and then stain it and do all that stuff.
And here's the other thing, it's also waterproof. So we were able to take it into the guest bathroom And instead of having to retile that room, we could just go right over it with this SPC flooring, and you can use it in bathrooms. It can be used in kitchens, bathrooms, anywhere that, laundry rooms. You don't have to worry about it like, an engineered wood or a solid wood.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Brian and I, actually it was probably maybe closer to 3 years ago now, right, Brian? We had a piece of that urban floor SBC in the water in a water bucket for like 2.5 months. It didn't change dimensions, anything. So we're very confident on the fact that it won't change shape. If you have a little nervous dog that has an issue, it'll just puddle there. You could clean it. The thing that I was, for many years, I was very reluctant to install these, especially in houses that had steps. And it was because they didn't have a good setup for the step. It had this weird bullnose piece that was not flat with the tread. And
yes, now they're doing flush bullnose, which is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a game changer.
I agree. Before it was like, even if we put that somewhere, we would do like solid treads on the stairs because it just didn't look right. But this turned out so nice. We did all the stairs. We took out the railings and put new railings in that made it a little more modern. But you can see there, the windows have the taupe paint on it.
Oh, they look great. They look great. It looks so airy. That was so dark when I remember when I first walked into the house. That area doesn't get a lot of natural light, and it was so dark. And it's the entrance to the house, right? You're like walking into this. It just looked like you were almost walking into like a cave.
But yeah, by doing the white wall, instead of doing darker walls and white trim, which most people do, we did the white, and it just really opened it up and made it feel fresh and clean.
Yeah, right on. I think honestly, if you've got a family, you got pets, that SPC floor is it's a no-brainer. And the cost, I mean, you get an amazing look for, like you said, like a third of the price. So, hey, if any of you guys want to see more info on this, we'll have a link below, and we kind of walk you through the whole process of this particular project. It was over in Eagle Rock. That house has been remodeled and sold. So anyway, we have a little. You can catch it on the replay on Facebook and YouTube if you're interested in checking that out. All right, hey, we are going into the special time, the time that we love to talk about, where we go in deep and we bring you into the show by reading out your questions and answering the questions as best we can. So, Brian, do we have any questions?
Yes, we do. We got tons of questions here.
Right on. Go with question 1.
Cool. Question number 1, I think it's for Wendy. She says, Wendy, what other trends do you see in the future?
What other trends? I think that we're going to continue with open concepts in kitchens. People continue to like that. One thing that I think a trend that's happened probably because of the pandemic is that people do want office space in their home. They want areas where, different family members can have privacy and for schooling and that type of thing. I think that is going to be a trend we move towards. I do think that a lot of people are going to start remodeling now because they spent 24/7 in their house and they're seeing all the flaws. Before, when you go to the office and you go on vacation and you didn't really notice some of the things, or you could avoid looking at them. But now that people have spent so much time at home, they're starting to realize that their house needs to be more efficient and work better for them and with them. So I think that's going to be a trend, is people trying to bring their house into a place that is comfortable for them and that is multifunctional.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's really difficult to be on the phone for work and your kids are going apeshit, in the same room that you're in. And it's, that's the only table that you have is the dining room table, and the kids trying to watch TV right, in the living room. And it's a little bit more difficult. I know one of the projects that we're designing right now, they actually designed a home office. They carved out a little bit of space out of the master so that they could have that kind of functionality where you can close the door and be in there and do the Zoom calls and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that's 100% true. I think the other factor is that people, I think they're eating out less. So you want more functionality in the kitchen. You're cooking more than you ever have before, right? I think the average person only cooked once a week or something like that, historically.
And I think they're getting their kids more involved. There's a lot of people in the kitchen. So we need little areas that you can work on. Maybe one person can be chopping and dicing while somebody else is doing some other, prep work. So
yeah, somebody's wrangling the kids on the other end, yeah, for sure. You're trying to make it happen. You're trying to work through all of the insanity that we have to deal with outside because of COVID. So
yeah, I don't think anybody really had any idea what would have happened the last couple of years and how things would have changed.
For sure. It's definitely a totally new different paradigm. What's the other one, Brian? We got another one?
Absolutely. The next question is for Alex. It's, Alex, are vinyl floors better than they were 20 years ago?
I definitely think so. That SPC, it's a game changer. I've never really been a fan of that. Me
neither.
To try and keep the cost down, we did engineered versus, whole natural floor.
Right.
But now the SPC, we're putting it in super high-end houses, PV estates, definitely high-end part of Torrance. And it's because it looks good. You can get the bang. That house sold for quite a bit of money. It was definitely a high-end neighborhood, the one that we just went through. And I have no reservations about installing it.
The next question is for both of you guys. What direction are remodel prices moving in this year?
Well, you're seeing it material-wise. So you talk about material, I'll talk about labor.
Everybody's been raising their prices. Unfortunately, I feel like even the tile companies, they've had to raise their prices 2 to 3 times in the last year and a half. So we work really hard to help you find things that are affordable and give you that high-end look for maybe a middle range price. But definitely prices are going up. So if you're going to do it, I would think it's time to do it now, get going on your remodel, because I don't see them going down anytime soon.
On the labor side, on the install side, I don't see the prices going down unless we have a total collapse in demand, right? So barring that doesn't happen, and I'll tell you why. Many of the employees, right? In order to keep them, labor was tight as it was in construction because there's fewer people the younger people that want to work in construction, right? Because it's manual labor, it's hard work. Not that you really need to want to do this, right? If you're going to be doing physical manual labor for 8 hours, I don't think there's any gray in that. You either are willing to do it or you're not willing to do it. So, as a result, there's a shortage in it. And then the guys that have experience, the journeyman level installers, they're about to retire. The guys that are older than me. I'm 46, and I would say the average person that runs a construction company is probably in their mid to late 60s. So I'm still relatively young, in comparison, but I can't do 8 hours of framing labor outside. I just can't do that type of work anymore, or laying tile on my knees for 8 hours. So you need young people, So you couple that with, if you're a, typical labor contract, plumbing contractor or mason contractor or framer, and you have some young people willing to do the hard work, you don't want them to leave. So they've gotten pay raises, maybe $3-4 an hour. Even, I think that that is a very common thing. So what I don't see is them saying, hey, we want to, the pandemic's over, we're going to give you a pay cut. Like, I don't see that happening. So no. I think that the labor price increase is there to stay unless we have a shock in the system and we have something, financial crisis, whatever. So I think that's where we're trending wise. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. And also I do see now that when it comes to knowing how to do a trade, like you're saying, the younger kids, a lot of them don't want to do it, but they are starting to lean towards getting these younger kids who don't really want to go to college and get them into trade schools. And I think that there are people out there that are interested. So maybe we need to just educate them a little more on getting more young kids into this industry, because it's really an important industry, and it's important that we have tradesmen that know what they're doing instead of, I know a lot of times contractors will just go over to Home Depot and pick someone up and bring them to your house. That's not the guy you want painting. You want someone who's been trained by somebody who really
apprentice.
knows what they're doing.
Yes.
And there are, that is starting to be a trend, is that some of these younger kids are going to be going to trade schools rather than going to college. College has gotten really expensive, and trade schools, they can go in and start working right away.
And making money right away, making good money. In 2-3 years, when they get this, and it depends on the trades, right? I think that some trades are easier to learn, and the learning curve is not as steep. So if you want to learn how to lay tile, you want to learn how to paint, even framing, even some rough framing, you can actually get pretty good in 2-3 years. So it's definitely something for younger people to consider. It's a good feeling to feel at the end of the day that you accomplished something, you built something with your hands, and you used your talent and your mind. So it's
Definitely.
we definitely need more younger people going into it. What else we got?
The next question is, are there any materials or any other stuff that's in short supply or back ordered that we should avoid?
Well, something that's really hard to get right now is appliances. We can't really avoid them because we need them, but if you are going to be starting a project, you want to get those appliances ordered right away, because they're taking 3 to 6 months in some cases. For as far as tile and countertops and things, I usually try to steer people towards the ones that we can get readily. So I think it's more like plumbing fixtures are hard to get right now. There is a lot of demand, and they're having a hard time getting things.
I think definitely you don't want to go special ordering stuff that's overseas if you can avoid it. There's definitely some American-made manufacturers like Decor, and we're going to be talking. We're going to probably do a show on that on its own, but definitely stay away from extended. Now, and I don't want to confuse that with like custom cabinets. Custom cabinets, you have to do special order, and because it's going to be for that space. But the materials like a hand painted tile, a very very custom order materials, I would definitely stay away from that, and focus on the things that you could get that are readily available in stock and inventory.
Somebody wants to know, are dimensional tiles more expensive than regular tile?
Usually they are. Yes, the simple flat tiles are definitely going to be less expensive.
Another question here is, do I need an interior designer for a kitchen remodel or for a bathroom remodel?
Yes, you need an interior designer. You need Wendy Hurst to be your interior designer.
What interior designers do is they save you from making a lot of mistakes. So because we have a lot of experience doing this over time, we can help you. You're going to save money in the long run by hiring an interior designer, because we will help guide you to get that project done and have it be efficient and have it look good, be aesthetically pleasing.
I think, Wendy, maybe 4 or 5 times a year, we come across a project that has been left abandoned. There's a demo started, and some things got bought, and it looks like a disaster zone. And basically the customer started trying to find the vendors themselves and try to figure it out, and they couldn't get a coordinated team effort to put it back together. And it's not cheaper. If you factor in all the days you're going to miss work and all that, construction's pretty tough. I've been doing this for a long time, and getting 15, 20 different people coordinated and materials delivered and all this stuff it's challenging for us. If you've never done it before, you don't have relationships with the vendors, you're going to have a hard time. That you're going to have a lot of stress at home. And I think you can just save all the grief and hire somebody to do it for you.
Yeah, and I think we have clients who have done remodel projects in the past, and they all say to me, I'm so grateful to have you helping me and guiding me this time, because I didn't have that last time. I just had to go out and shop on my own, and I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know, a lot of people don't know the difference between porcelain tile and stone tile. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can use our expertise and help you get through that so much quicker than trying, for you to take the time to learn about the products and what's available.
Yeah, 100%. It's a much better experience, the whole thing. The construction part and the hammer and the dust and all that insanity is hard enough as it is. It's a lot easier just to get a team together that'll help you put it back together. What else we got, Brian?
Another question here is, how do I find an interior designer for my project?
Well, you can go to baycitiesconstruction.com and fill in your info, and we'll set up an appointment to meet Wendy and I. It's super easy. Of course, you can go by referrals and stuff. Look, the cool part about hiring Wendy and I to do this project, to do the design and then the build, is that if you hire an interior designer on their own, they don't have a cost guidance during the selection process. With us, we try, and their goal is obviously to design something that you can afford to build, right? Like that. When that doesn't happen, it sucks. Like it sucks. So our motivation is to make sure that your design is in line with your budget, so that we can build it, and you won't be stressed out about picking things that you can't afford. Or
I think that's a big thing for people, is that they get their mind set on something and they fall in love with something, and then they find out they can't afford it. So for me, I try to get an idea of what you can spend. Can you spend $20 a square foot, or can you spend $100 a square foot? And I'm going to guide you toward the things that give you the look you want, but for the price you can afford, and something that you feel comfortable spending.
Yeah. And people have to be realistic about that. I mean, I can't make a $40 a foot tile be $10. I can't. So at some point you have to, either come up with a 40 or find something at $10 or $15 a foot that you love. It's a matter of looking for stuff too. That's another component. Part of the design process is you haven't demoed your house yet, because you need to figure out what you're going to put in there before you demo the house.
Right.
That's an important part of the process. And it also gives you an opportunity to work with us and see if we're a good fit, right? Because personality-wise, there's people every year that will sign a design agreement and choose not to do the deal, to go to construction with us for different reasons. And some of them, to be honest, it's that we're not a good match. And guess what? You figured it all out. You figured out that we're not a good match before you demoed your house. Like all of those nightmare stories where, the house is open and all wrecked out for a couple years. Like that won't happen if you do it this way, right? You'll have a few weeks to work with us. You'll meet Casey. You'll work with Wendy. You'll meet me, obviously. So, I think that I've been doing this for a long time, and this has been the best way to do it. The best way to do that. What else we got? Any more questions?
Absolutely. Another question here is, can I install RevAShelf products myself, or do I need a pro?
I think they can install some of them. Yeah. And then if you wreck it,
then call us. No.
No, don't call us. If you wreck it, don't call us. I think so. I think some of them are more easier than others. Some of those little drawer inserts are a piece of cake.
Yeah, I mean, my husband's done it. We just had a trash can, and I wanted it to be a trash can and a recycle bin. And as long as you're able to figure out how to unscrew the cabinet door and install it in the cabinet, it depends. If you're a do-it-yourselfer and you can figure those things out, the one thing the rule at our house is, if it says it's going to take 2 hours, it's probably going to take 6 hours. So just allow yourself a lot more time. It depends how much is your time worth.
100%. I think so. Look, some people, they like tinkering as a hobby, right? Like I know a few people that are like that. They're like, every hour that they spend working on their house, they lose tons of money at work because they make a lot more money at work. But
Exactly.
But they just do it to keep their mind busy. So
Another question here is about the fridges that we talked about in the show. They want to know, are panel-ready fridges only compatible with custom cabinets?
Pretty much. Because you have to have the cabinet door made specifically to fit into that groove that is provided on the refrigerator. So it's not really a easy retrofit thing. You really do have to have custom cabinet doors made.
now
for
you
them.
could have the panels made later. So although I think you get a discount if you get the refrigerator without the stainless steel doors.
Correct.
Right. So I think it's
you
a little
usually
cheaper.
save maybe $150, $200
Okay.
because the stainless steel doors are more expensive than a panel ready door.
Yeah. So
But then you have to have the cabinet door made. So it all kind of evens out. I wouldn't say one is less expensive than the other unless, you had. It depends on what type of cabinet you're using.
truth be told, most of the people that get a fridge with panels, that kitchen costs a lot of money. They're not going to come back.
They're
later.
doing a custom kitchen.
Yeah, they're doing a custom kitchen.
And the only time they're going to change that is if they're changing the whole kitchen. And by then, you're probably going to get a new refrigerator anyway.
Right. Yeah, the installation instructions with the fridge actually tell the cabinet maker what dimensions to make the panels. So it's one of those things that you have to you either buy it or you don't buy it from go.
Yeah, if you're trying to just get a new refrigerator, panel ready is not the way to go. Just, get one that's either, stainless steel or white or black or whatever color you want.
And you can get a stainless steel counter depth without being panel ready.
Correct.
Right. It doesn't have to be a built-in, and it gives you kind of the built-in look for the counter depth ones.
Yes.
Another question, I think it's about SPC Flooring. They want to know, is SPC Flooring expensive? Are the prices that I'm seeing online too good to be true?
They really are too good to be true, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, we had a client that was considering a wood look tile throughout their entire kitchen remodel area. And the SPC was about a third the cost of the tile. Because with the tile, you have to float the floor, then you have to install it, you have to grout it. And the tile is probably double the price, sometimes even more than that. So if you kind of couple together the installation and the cost of the product, it really is a good deal.
I think that, so 100% agree with what you're saying. To put tile down on a floor, if it's not a slab, if it's a raised foundation building, you must have that floor stiff. You cannot have, if you walk on the floor and you hear creaking and the nails squeaking and all that stuff, you cannot just put tile on top of that. You can't even put a mortar bed on top of it.
Right.
We normally rip it all out, rip out the subfloor, fix any broken floor joists, put in 1 1/8 tongue and groove subfloor, glued and screwed, then float it, then install the tile. That all equals a boatload of money.
Yeah.
Versus, now you could see the SPC flooring, and some of them are $3 or $5, even if some of the nicer ones a little even up $5 a foot. Now that is a little misleading because most of the time we have to go in and put lightweight concrete and level out all of those low spots. Look, some people will just install that on the floor, but it looks like crap. It's really wavy. It looks really weird. So if you take the moment to re-nail down the subfloor, put some lightweight concrete down, get it all nice and level, get it nice and stiff, you're going to love the way that stuff looks. So, and then if you have stairs, you don't have to be scared anymore. You get some nice treads on there.
Cool. We got one last question here. They want to know, Alex, what cities in Orange County do you work in?
So we are servicing Orange County, Anaheim, all the way down to Laguna, Newport Beach, pretty much all the beach cities down there. We won't go to Oceanside, it's too far, but before Oceanside, we'll go down there. So we've got an office down there. We've got Wendy and I are going down there maybe once or twice a week, and it's good. We've got one in Dana Point right now, and we're considering another one in San Juan Capistrano. All right, folks. So, Wendy, thanks for coming by. For those of you watching the show, thank you very much. If you want to learn more about the services that we offer, please go to baycitiesconstruction.com. This website is for you. It's not for me. It's for you. It has tons of information about different aspects of remodeling, home additions, kitchen, bathroom remodeling, even bolt downs. Anything that has to do with wood frame construction, we can help you with. You need roofing, you need your foundation fixed, all that good stuff. Our blog articles, if you go onto our website, hit the resources, our blog articles are there. We also have a gallery page, and we're also pretty active on YouTube and Facebook, where we post weekly. Actually, I think we post Facebook almost daily. So our articles are on the website, and if you want to schedule an appointment with me and Wendy, please go to the website, type in your info, and you'll be in our system. Brian will give you a call, set you up with a Zoom meeting. And if you have a chance, go on to YouTube and check out some of the videos. These videos are for you. They're basically there to inform you and educate you about whatever project you may be contemplating doing. And we've been around for a little while. I've been doing this since 2004. And like I always say, you don't need a contractor. You need a team of pros. And thank you, Wendy, for being one of our pros. Thank you for coming on board. For those of you that are down in Dana Point, please, or in Orange County, go ahead and contact us if you need any help with any project. And if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. And thanks again for watching. Bye-bye, guys.
Kitchen you want today from Bay Cities Construction in the Southern California and Los Angeles area. There is no better company who takes time out of the equation to get you a detailed plan of what your new kitchen will look like. Get your design plans done, your interior design plans done, and entire project scope done right now. Get your finished kitchen in 90 days or less. We are the best in the Los Angeles and Southern California area, and there's no need to shop anywhere else. Just get started with Bay Cities Construction. Go to baycitiesconstruction.com. That's baycitiesconstruction.com. Looking for a bathroom remodel in the Southern California and Los Angeles area? If you've shopped and you've looked at prices and have no clue where to start, let Bay Cities Construction get you started with a quote of get design, interior design, project scope, and know exactly what it will cost to get your bathroom remodeled. There is no guesswork and no need to shop around. Just take time out of the equation to get your new bathroom in 90 days. Get your estimate now at baycitiesconstruction.com. That's baycitiesconstruction.com.
My name's Alex Rodriguez, reminding you, you don't need a contractor. You need a team of pros.